Hey guys, it's great to be back with you just for a few minutes today. Again, thank you so much for being committed to this journey. And I pray if you've been a part of the first two intro weeks and the first two small groups and you're on this journey, I pray you're sensing change. Like God is making you aware of some things in your life. The Holy Spirit's putting His finger on some things that need to change, blessing and affirming some things that you're doing well. And the study and awareness is growing in you a transformation. I hope and pray that we're all becoming more like Jesus because of this. Let me just go first. That's kind of what I'm seeing every time I come to teach. And just for a moment, I'm just trying to start the conversation, trying to help get the room started, get your mental juices flowing so that it makes more meaningful conversation for you. And today we're talking about what you might think is an unusual concept as it relates to honor. We're talking about flow. And what we mean by that, honor is not just a value. It is an action. Like it moves. If it's not expressed, it really doesn't exist. Okay? And so if it's not flowing through our life, there are things that block its flow. We think just having the feeling is enough. It's not. We have to express it. And we're going to talk about some directional ways that honor can move and flow in our life. It's like water. It cannot stay contained. It has to move into the spaces that we make in our life for it to flow into. And you're going to see in your study, I have it in my notes here, honor, we say this, you honor up, you honor down, you honor all around. That's one of the easiest ways for me to remember that. Honor flows up to authority, it flows down to the overlooked, and it flows all around to the people that we do everyday life with. The problem is, for most of us, it's easy for us to honor one direction and not another. And when we only honor one direction, we're not really walking in kingdom culture. If we only honor up, it can turn into flattery. We're just kissing up. If you have problem honoring people that you are socially, that may be beneath you in one way or another, you see them, or socioeconomically, or if you don't honor them or you don't honor your peers, you only honor up, you're really only interested in flattery. You're kissing up. If you only honor down, like you can't honor authority in your life or you can't honor your peers, and it's really easy for you to what look like honor down, you're giving them pity. And they don't want your pity. They have the image of God on their life and they need to be dignified and valued through a genuine expression of your honor. If we only honor around, it can turn into favoritism. And what that basically means is you're showing honor because of what you get back. You want something in return, which is really not honor. Kingdom culture, something that reflects the heart of God, honors up to authority, down to those that may be overlooked in society, and around to those that are our peers that we do everyday life with. And Jesus modeled this. If you look at the life of Jesus, He honored up to His Father completely. He honored down by stooping to serve the least and the last everywhere He went. And He called in these common fishermen and carpenters, made them His disciples, and referred to them as His friends. They were His closest companions. So there was that whole concept of honor in Jesus flowing, literally moving from His life in every direction. The gospel is a story. I mean, the whole idea of the gospel is a story of downward honor, like God displaying His honor for people that did not deserve it, you, me, and the reality that I have benefited from honor and value that God has placed upon me should make my heart want to be more like His and do the same for other people in my life. When honor flows, in my life freely up, down, all around, it builds bridges. You don't have a fight between the young and the old anymore. You don't have a fight between the rich and the poor anymore. You don't have a fight between ethnicities and language barriers. There's a bridge Honor builds bridges between cultures and generations, and people that would normally be divided are united when there is a mutual show of honor. Here's the problem, though. Honor can't flow through pride. That's one reason why people don't honor up. Or it's the one reason they can't honor down. It's one reason they don't honor their peers. Somewhere along the way, pride is inhibiting that flow. It's competition, it's comparison, it hurts, and it dams up the flow of honor in our life. So this week in our groups, we're going to be talking about the flow of honor in our life. How has it become an action? How is it moving? Not from a feeling to actually being demonstrated up, down, all around in our life. And if it's slowed or if honor has stopped one way or another, what is it going to take to get it moving again? And let me go back. Look, this is not in the notes, but I'm going to go back because when I say pride, we can really rationalize not showing honor to people because they disagree with us and we think they're so vehemently wrong politically or theologically or whatever. And people often question me. I'll have dinner with people that are very liberal theologically and embrace things that I have convictions against, or I'm kind to people who politically are polar opposite than me, and people question my convictions because they think that if you disagree with somebody theologically or politically, or you're supposed to hate them or be rude to them. And the fact that all of that has defined American Christianity is sickening. If I believe that every human being has the Imago Dei on their life, this goes back to the first conversation we had about identity. It is easy for me to begin to value somebody simply because they are an image bearer. I don't have to agree with them. I don't have to agree with them theologically. I don't have to agree with them politically. I don't have to agree with them on any other thing. I can value them simply because they bear the image of God, and that alone gives them value, and that image in their life is what I'm honoring, the dignity and worth. So don't let pride, find those areas where you have a hard time showing honor, and let honor start flowing from your life, because I promise you, there is an open heaven for an honoring heart. We're going to get to the reward conversation later. But that's the whole premise of this. God honors people that let honor flow through them. Here's my question for myself that I'll be honest with you about tonight. I'll be the icebreaker to help start your discussion. Can you share about a time when God challenged you to honor someone, either an authority, someone overlooked, or a peer, when it didn't come naturally? Let me just tell two stories, one from my life and one from my sons, I think that we can all relate to. Sometime last year when we were doing the gratitude challenge and we did 40 days of gratitude and we were writing letters or making phone calls or sending text, I thought it was really odd for me that the Lord really, at a lot of my 40 expressions of gratitude were written to people that had hurt me. People that had publicly scorned me. They misinterpreted my motives. They belittled me. I knew that maybe some of them were smiling to my face, but I heard conversations they had behind my back. I had to search my heart. Those are the names that the Lord brought back to me and said, I want you to find something in your life where they added value to you. I want you to see my image in their life, and I want you to be grateful for that. I'm going to tell you, it was hard. There have been authorities in my life that have hurt me. And just as a side note, if that's you, one of the greatest books I ever read, this is a side note, is The Tale of Three Kings by Gene Edwards. If there have been authority figures in your life, at work, in the church, in your family, somewhere that have hurt you and you've never read that little book, you can read it in an hour. It is profound about honoring authority, even when authority isn't honorable, and how God will protect you, and it opens heaven to your life. It's the study of how David honored Saul when he was dishonorable, how Absalom dishonored David when David was honorable, and how that impacted all their life. Tale of Three Kings. That's just a side note I didn't intend to say, but it was from the principles that I learned in that book that caused me to sit down and search my heart, do the hard thing. because of the image of God in these people's lives, not because they may or may not be honorable, but I wanted to find something in their life I could honor and express gratitude for, and I did. And it changed me. It humbled me. It thwarts pride in my life. Does it creep back in? Yes. Do I probably need to do it more often? Yes. But I just, that's my confession. And one thing here before I go, more practical, less heavy. It's become a marker in our family's life. My son Gavin was in college when we started a campaign years ago in 2019 to launch multiple campuses, expand our kids' space, all the things. We called it the Unfinished Initiative. Gavin felt like God wrote a number in his heart. For him at the time as a college student, that was a $5,000 commitment. He gave a few dollars towards that commitment, forgot all about it, went on with his life. Really walked away from God in college, came back, had an encounter with God, was trying to find his career. He was unhappy, he was unfulfilled. He's newly surrendered, devoted to God, now in his 20s. And the Lord reminded him of a commitment that he had made. The campaign was over, but there was this outstanding commitment. And Gavin emptied what little savings he had at that moment as an act of obedience to God to make up that commitment to that $5,000. It was more than $4,000 he had to write out of his savings, and that was really all he had at that particular moment. The next day, he gets a phone call from the nonprofit organization he works for today, One Hope, and they offered him a job. That interview that happened 24 hours after he made that gift has changed the entire trajectory of his life. And he will say to me all the time, Dad, I believe because I was obedient and I honored God and I trusted him and honor flowed from my heart in that moment. I have no doubt there was no coincidence in the fact I got the call the next day that transformed my life. We go, and I love it more than when it happens to me, when it happens to my kids, because that marked him. And so honor has to flow. It can't be a feeling. It has to flow. It has to be turned into obedience some way in your life. I don't know what that looks for you, but I'm going to hand this off to you and let you guys talk about it. Honor always is going to cost us something, but when we make that decision, it creates space for honor to flow, and wherever you let honor flow, God is going to meet you there. So decide in your own hearts, kind of search your own hearts. Where is that being stopped in your life? Kind of where is pride taken over? And you go first. If it's writing the note or making the hard phone call, you go first. And God will fill that flow of honor from your life. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this journey. I can't wait till the topic for next week. We'll see you next week.